Alright, last time we talked about Netflix buying Warner Brothers, I had pretty much kind of laid out two scenarios. One, if Netflix got them, hopefully they would end up bringing some real strategy that they could end up using for the gaming division. Or on the other hand, Paramount ends up swooping in and basically ends up treating the whole thing as just extra weight. And well, Paramount won. What's good, y'all? It's your boy Lanzeral, back in another video. And last time we talked about the whole Warner Brothers, Netflix, Paramount fiasco, I was not so secretly hoping that Netflix would end up being the one with the deal. Well, today we're doing a full update because the situation has completely flipped from what I had hoped, and I have some thoughts on it. But quick little background if you had missed the first video. After years of WB Games absolutely bleeding thanks to failed projects like Suicide Squad Kills Justice League and Multiverses, which ended up leading to the shutdown of some of their major studios, Warner Bros. Discovery ended up deciding to put themselves up for auction back in October of 2025. And at that time, Netflix was showing very heavy interest to the fact that they won the first round of bids with an offer of $82.7 billion. And at that time, it seemed like Netflix pretty much had a shoo-in to acquire Warner Bros. Discovery. However, they had a competitor who was not pleased with how things were going. And so enters Paramount Skydance, who kept coming back with counter offers over and over again to the point that they had ended up putting in 9 total bids, which is absolutely insane of them. And finally, on February 27th of this year, Warner Bros. Discovery actually accepted an offer from Paramount Skydance for $31 per share, which totals roughly to $110 billion, which basically blows Netflix's original offer completely out the water at that point. Then, following that, Warner Bros. Discovery shareholders had approved the deal on April 23rd, and at this point, all they're really waiting for is regulators to pretty much give the go-ahead, and Warner Bros. Discovery will officially be under Paramount's control. So, with all that, it looks like Paramount won. But you could probably guess the part that I'm most concerned about, and that is what will Paramount do with Warner Bros. Games? And the honest answer right now? We don't know, because Paramount's not really talking about it. Recently, they held their first investor call since the deal went through, and WB Games barely mentioned. They basically spent 30 plus minutes talking about media and streaming, but the gaming division, which of course features studios like Rocksteady and NetherRealm, barely mentioned, which is not a good look for them at all. Now, while it may seem like I'm spinning this as purely negative, let's try and look on maybe some potential bright side. Some analysts out there actually think that the Paramount deal could be good for WB Games, as Paramount CEO had previously stated that we're going to be spending in excess of $1.5 billion in content for 2026. And the company itself seems to be touting cutting-edge gaming as a core creative engine in some of their investor presentations. Plus, there's some reports out there that claim that Ellison himself is a gamer. Not that that actually means much, just look at Elon Musk with his Path of Exile controversy from last year. But back to what the analysts think. They say studios like Avalanche and NetherRealm are cornerstone assets that align well with Paramount's franchise-first strategy. Think Hogwarts Legacy, Mortal Kombat, and DC. These are franchises with name recognition that Paramount could actually do something with. And while some of that might give you some hope, here's the biggest concern that I have with this deal. And that's the fact that Paramount is currently eyeing at least $6 billion in cuts to potentially make this acquisition actually work for them. When a company that already barely acknowledges your gaming division is looking to slash that kind of money, you have to ask, who's getting cut? Because at this point, WB Games was already gutted in 2025 when they had closed down multiple studios. So how much more can they actually take before studios like Rocksteady or TT Games end up being shut down too? But on that note, one industry analyst seems to have a potential idea of how Paramount could potentially make a decent amount of money acquisition. That could potentially be them mirroring what I had outlined that Netflix was potentially going to do if they had gotten their hands on WB Games, with them using those titles as add-ons in their Paramount Plus streaming service as a way to basically bump up their subscription revenue. And like I had said last time, the subscription trap was one thing that I definitely did not want to see if Netflix were the ones who had acquired. So likewise, I definitely don't want to see that happening with Paramount Plus, but there is a chance that that could potentially be the route that they go with. Now at this point, the one sliver of hope that we do have, and I do mean one sliver, is that WBD's own gaming head, JB Barrett, had said before the deal closed that the real fruits will start coming in 2027 and 2028, when we return to some of our biggest franchises. I'd say that kind of lines up with some of the rumors that have been going around, especially on NetherRealm when it comes to Injustice 3, as we're starting to see a lot more traction following that, so there's a strong chance that we actually may be seeing some type of reveal, potentially 2026, and hopefully a release in 2027. Hopefully not 2028, but Potentially that too. But at the end of the day, this whole situation just feels like one big question mark. As Paramount won the bid, the shareholders did say yes. And while they are waiting on regulators right now, something else does seem to be brewing on the horizon with consumers who seem to be suing in an attempt to stop the merger from happening. And while all that's going on, the one thing that still remains top of mind for me is whether or not Paramount will actually invest in WB games the way they deserve. Because let's face it, at this point, they've pretty much crossed all the major hurdles, but there's still a very high chance, even with the consumers pursuing, that Paramount will probably still win and acquire Warner Brothers. But right now, the lack of enthusiasm that I've seen around the gaming division doesn't really give me much hope. But for now, we wait, once again, which at this point seems to be the Warner Brothers Games experience. And if you like this video, make sure you hit that like button. And if you love what we do here when it comes to video game news and reviews, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on that notification bell so you never miss when a video drops. Alright y'all, that is it for me. I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I will catch you all later. Peace!